accident occurred.
And what was the name of that?
Convert the presentation over.
Is Emily with you? She said she had to take a phone call like 10 minutes ago.
She had to go to the back room to work.
If everyone would please put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I believe for our invocation, we have a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. That was from dear Martin Luther King Jr. Fitting for the time, particularly since we recognize him this month. Lauren, is this our guest slide or is this a?
No, I'm going to pass on this slide actually, because we're having a little
Okay.
trouble with it and keep going. So we're going to miss our song today. I'm sorry. I will send you some things off the Spotify later if you'd appreciate
I was afraid I was going blind.
Yes. But back
This
to you,
slide
Mike,
is,
for
yes.
some of our other stuff.
This slide is to let everyone know that we do record this for our Facebook page. We're going huge on social media. And so you obviously you're going to say great things. Just be aware that you, if your microphone is not muted, you will be picked up on the recording. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to welcome the Scripps Ranch Kiwanis Club. And also there's one individual from the Grantville, I think it was, or was it, help me out. Where's the other club from, Alan? The
Grantville Alley Gardens.
Allied Gardens, that's right. So welcome. Alan, what's going on in Grantville Allied Gardens?
Well, we're just all trying to stay healthy. We do a thing on all federal holidays. We put out 44 flags along Waring Road, if you're familiar with Allied Gardens, on every federal holiday. And we always have a lot of people driving down the street responding with horn honking and stuff. So it's a good thing for the community. And we've been doing it on President's Day. It'll be the start of the 51st year that we've been doing this.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for joining us today. And Craig, would you like to say a piece on the Scripps Ranch Club before we move forward?
Actually, I think I'll let Holt speak for the club because I see he's
Holt's on.
online. So Holt, maybe you
Okay,
can tell
good.
him about our fundraising we did in the San Diego Food Bank.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, we just we put together a real quick food drive. It was a virtual food drive during the month of December, and we did it all on Amazon. We set up an Amazon registry, and then kind of advertised it out to friends and family in the community, and people could go on there, and we put a list of food items that the food bank gave us, and these were all pretty much carton size, case size items. And anyway, we ended up donating around 1,500 pounds of food to the food bank in just a few weeks. So that actually worked out really well. And people liked how easy it was. Just click, 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 enter, and you're done.
That's great. And congratulations on the momentum there with the club. I understand you now have 22 members. So you're chasing our heels. So that's tremendous.
Yeah,
effort.
thank you.
We also have an illustrious guest today, Mr. Mark McDonald. He is our leader for our district. Mark, would you like to say a couple words?
I hope all of you will join us on February 13th for the virtual mid-year that we're going to have with seminars, and our guest speaker that day is going to be International President Art Riley for the Interclub lunch. So hopefully you'll be able to join us.
Excellent. Thank you. I will make a point for sure. Any other guests out there that I've missed? I apologize. Would anyone else like to say a little welcome word? Okay. Well, we have a great program today. We have Mr. Sid Vivek with the Junior Achievement. Steve Morris, as you're the chairman of the day, would you like to introduce Sid?
Sure. Thank you, Mike.
So our only unnamed guest so far is with us, Sid. I met Sid working at the YMCA for the past, before he left, I guess we had worked together around 6 or 7 years. Quick bio on Sid before I turn it over to him. As a first generation American and self-described latchkey kid from Boston, Sid's professional career started and remains at the intersection of youth development and public policy. From cross-country advocacy that influenced Congress' approval of $1 billion for after-school programming, to the development of strategic partnerships and funding that directly serve 10,000 people annually in San Diego. Sid continues to think globally and act locally. Currently, as president and CEO of Junior Achievement of San Diego County, Sid oversees a small but mighty team of 15 that empowers more than 22,000 young people annually to be real world ready. Through 5,000 industry volunteers deployed in their unique facility and in classrooms and communities, JA San Diego continues to work towards an equitable, inclusive economic future for local students. And with that, I will turn it over to my friend Sid. And I believe, Sid, you can share your screen if, yep, there you go. If you want to take over, Sid, welcome to the meeting and take it away.
Thanks so much, Steve. It sounds way better when you say it than when I wrote it. But I appreciate that. Thank you. I actually, I don't know if you can see my screen. I hope that you can.
We
Yes,
can
we
see
can.
it,
We
but
can,
see it.
however, if you
You
go into
should start the
slideshow mode,
slideshow.
we might be able to see it.
Yeah, we see
larger.
just we see your notes.
Awesome. So really quickly, and I really don't want to belabor this, but I'm really excited to be here, and I appreciate Steve inviting me. I have a past. There's actually an old San Diego Kiwanis club that had to close that I was a part of for actually several years when I was at the Y with Steve. So we just had a challenge, I know, with membership, but I was so grateful to be a part of that club, and so I'm grateful to be here with you as well. I didn't find a club in the interim, and again, I had young kids who got older who took up a lot of my time and still are not old enough, but are a little bit older now. So I'm grateful to be here, and I'd share a little about JA and what we do. I have a couple slides, but really, hopefully for this to be a conversation. For those who don't know, and I don't want to assume that you do or don't, but JA, as Steve mentioned, really we are a national organization, 100 years old nationally, 70 years here in San Diego. And really, I like to briefly describe JA as the intersection between industry and education. So we focus on 3 pillars: work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. And we use a unique combination of Common Core aligned curriculum with direct connection with industry volunteers to empower young people to see what's possible in their world. We start as young as kindergarten, believe it or not. Several hundred kindergartners across the county go through JA programs that help them understand, like, what is an economy? What is a job? What do my parents do when they leave every day? Right now, they're not leaving, but what do they do when they hold themselves up in their bedroom and try to actually do some work? Our goal is to provide context for kids. And the best thing I heard from a teacher recently is we teach math and science and literacy, and that's critical. JA brings our lessons to life. And that's really the overview that I would want to share with everyone. That's really where JA focuses. As you can see, here are some numbers about our impact in the community this past year, 1819. As you might imagine, 1920 was a little bit of a challenging year for all of us. There are a few things going on, but what we're really proud about is that this past year, we served 9,000 students across the county. We pivoted all of our programs to virtual, and we're able to still connect with educators who desperately need support, not just in curriculum, but in having a voice that is not theirs. As a parent of a 9- and 6-year-old, I can tell you after a while, the kids don't want to hear from me or their teachers. They just want a different, they don't get kids, they don't get other classmates, they don't get PE. And so I think the connection to people in the quote unquote real world, and again, as a dad, I don't really have a job. My job is apparently just to manage them. They like to hear from all of you who actually have and had jobs. Those of you who know JA, you might recognize some of this. We have become extremely well known for a couple programs. One is called BizTown. We have, as Steve mentioned, a really unique 23,000 square foot facility in Grantville. So it's good to see the Grantville Kiwanis here. We have a facility that literally has 2 mini cities in it, and more than 22,000 students from around the county come to our building every single day to either go through the McGrath Family Biztown, which is primarily elementary school, 5th grade, or our mission-fed JA Finance Park, which is high school and beyond. The Job Shadow and Company program are 2 high school programs. And for those who, the entrepreneurs on the phone, JA Company program is a unique 13-week experiential program that goes from ideation to liquidation and everything in between. Imagine high school people, high school kids going through the process of understanding a problem, challenge, opportunity, identifying program service that would address that unique need, and then building out from barriers to entry and raising capital through business plan, marketing strategy, and then liquidation. We actually open bank accounts for them so that these young people are making sales. They're able to withdraw money when they have to pay for expenses to actually build out products. It's really a fascinating program. It's completely volunteer driven. Thanks to our fundraising and the support of our donors, no one pays a dime. And we directly connect these young people with the most important piece is the connection to individuals like you, entrepreneurs who, with training from us, help to guide these young people through the challenges they meet. Best thing I heard this past year is we had to transition that. It ends with a pitch fest. Imagine Shark Tank, where these young people pitch their ideas to a panel of local entrepreneurs and business leaders. This past year, obviously in April, we had to transition that virtually. And what was fascinating, when you think about how do we teach kids outside of a blackboard and a school book, young people starting companies talked about the challenge they faced in supply chain because of COVID. Many of them wanted to start t-shirt companies and they couldn't get the t-shirts they needed to actually imprint and then sell because the businesses, the vendors they needed to use had to close down, right? Imagine talking to kids about COVID and having them actually experience what businesses experienced in their process, right? And so a real huge piece of us is connecting folks to the real world and through experiences. We don't do a lot in the classroom that is book-based. It is all individual-based. So this is a little about us during COVID, candidly, and I suspect these, a lot of the concepts of these, a lot of you have faced in your own lives, professionally and personally. We've had to change the way we do delivery. Historically, we have been in person, in classrooms, or in the community. Everything is virtual now. But what's exciting is we haven't just PDF'd everything and put it online. We've actually gamified them. So we've built out video games for both our Finance Park and BizTown. Before, kids could walk through our BizTown, and now they actually play a video game online that provides the same connection to business and industry. The other piece that we've had to do is expand partnerships. And I'm going to talk about that a little later. But I think what's really important is while we can all kind of look at all the awful things that have come of this pandemic and really take a hard look at many of the social and racial awakening that we've had as a country, there are a lot of really good things. There are silver linings in all of this. And I think my board chair, a woman named Deborah Schwartz, I got to give her credit. Deborah is the CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union. And Deborah, a year and a half ago, said to me, there is opportunity in chaos. It's not being opportunistic, but it is understanding. And I would say, I think it was Mike who suggested earlier, Dr. King's quote of always moving forward. The reality is we must always move forward, even amidst challenges. And I think what's exciting is in this environment, we have reached children we never otherwise would have reached because of transportation issues, as an example, having to build out virtual programs. We have engaged funders and volunteers who only saw JA as financial literacy, but have now begun to realize that the work that we are doing in local communities is truly about economic empowerment. It's about creating an equitable, inclusive opportunity so that we don't just hand out things, but we provide hands up. We help young people where in some communities, the knowledge that we teach is commonplace, it's normal because their parents are entrepreneurs or their neighbors are CEOs and bankers. We're able to take that same knowledge and provide it across the economic spectrum in communities that otherwise wouldn't receive it. And that has engaged new funders and it's engaged new young people, people of all ages to say, man, I want to be a part of this. This is actually interesting. This is about making sure everyone has the same opportunities and access to opportunities. So we're really excited about the silver linings. And if you can't tell, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So I don't want to talk about what we haven't been able to do. I'm excited about what we have been able to do. This is a part of what we've been able to do. And again, this is a lot of me talking, I realize, so there's only one slide left, I promise. We created 2 new programs that didn't exist. We might be 100 years old, but I think it's very easy for organizations like ours to get stuck in what we do. It's kind of the rinse and repeat model. COVID, again, if I think of silver linings, has forced us to accelerate our innovation, but also to kind of wipe the slate clean in some places and say, all right, are we doing this the right way? Does this make the most sense? We've built out 2 new programs. I'm going to highlight, both of these are direct to consumer, and that's important for me because I don't, a guy that Steve knows, but an old boss of mine at the Y, Dick Webster, used to say, we are not for profit, but we are also not for loss. How are we operating efficiently and effectively as a business to ensure that we generate the revenue that then funds the mission? So part of this is a strategy change over the last 2 years. It's going direct to consumer. These programs aren't delivered in classrooms as we have done for over 100 years. These programs go straight into the community, and we have actually been, in most cases, scholarshiping free curriculum to community groups as well as parents. But we've also created a fee for service model where parents are paying for the critical knowledge that we provide, which has created an additional revenue stream. I'd like to specifically highlight the ambassador program, which is actually, it's a 13, for those of you who know Lead San Diego, which comes under the Chamber of Commerce, this is essentially a leadership program. It's Lead San Diego in high school. How do we take young people from across the county, help them understand the dynamics of our county economically, but also in terms of future job growth, and then connect them directly to the social capital that'll help them get there. So I don't want to just tell people that you can be an engineer. I want your mentor for the next 10 weeks to be an engineer at Qualcomm, who that you then connect to and stay connected to. And then, by the way, when you're a junior in high school, in college, you can call them up and say, you know what, I need an internship. For me, the connection for our young people, especially those that don't naturally have it, is not just to lessons, but it's to people. How do we help them grow their networks, their trusted networks as they get older? That program, it went from 20 in the fall to now we are oversubscribed at 165 through a partnership with San Diego Unified. Like that, we have built out a program, and I don't think it's on this. These 2 pieces are an example of how we've gamified it. Kids are actually doing our programs online in an extremely fun way, so that, again, it's not just talking about compound interest. It's giving you a fake portfolio and letting you see how compound interest works, as an example. What I'm really excited about, this virtual finance park, is happening in your area. So we have partnered with Chula Vista Elementary School District. And what I'm really excited about is Matt Tessier, Assistant Superintendent, is on our board at JA. Francisco Escobedo, former superintendent, and is former JA board member. They know what we do. And this spring, we will be delivering programs to 900 of what they have identified, their 10 schools that have the most challenges currently. Our goal, our charge, is to take our programs, and whether you go become a CEO or you become a plumber, we want you to understand what the world in front of you is about to look like. In the 6th grade, we're already starting, because all our work is cognitively adjusted based on ages. We want you to understand what it is to have a job, what it means to not just have the job, but succeed in it, how to budget a life around that. By the way, if I make $40,000 a year, maybe the Tesla is not the first car I should go out and try to buy. What's exciting is we let you go through that process. You can actually try to buy a Tesla here based on debt income, based on your salary. You may not be able to. And so we don't tell them that, we show them that. That program is happening in Chula Vista here this spring. And very candidly, I told Steve I wouldn't make any appeals, but I don't want your treasure. I need your time and talent. We need volunteers this spring to help deliver programs to not just this 900, but another 1,400 students across the county. So I'm going to end, I think, here because I want to get to questions. But really, the way in which we deliver is through volunteers like you and through partners like these. You might recognize some of these logos and names. I share them because what we've also instituted in the last year is what is very commonly known as a SaaS model, right? Software as a service. It's historically been in for-profits taking what they do and essentially selling it in a B2B capacity. What we see is a very similar model for these other tremendous organizations in town. But what they do is they're good at what they do. What they don't have are gamified versions of life. What they don't have is common core aligned curriculum and volunteers and connections to industry around financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and work readiness. So we are taking our little slice of what I like to think the future and providing them to all these youth serving organizations nearly free of charge. Some are actually willing to pay and have, some have not, but that's okay because whether you could tell or not, I like to talk and I enjoy telling our story and raising money. And the fact is, what we've already found is a increased donor pool of folks who say, wait, you're partnering. You're not just sitting in your own bubble, but you're looking at a way in terms of collectively impacting students and kids with strategic partnerships with others in our community who are doing great work. People want to give to that. Our corporate partners love it. And frankly, the kids in our community benefit the most. So this is a long way. That's my last slide. It's a long way of saying we're really proud of the work we've done during COVID. We did it for 7 years before COVID. We're going to do it for another 70 years after. But in the short term, we need your help. We need your influence. We need your context, your color of life to provide to these young people so that they can see not only what's possible, but hone in on what is right for them. And we've got the tools to do it. We just need you to sign up to help. So that's my whole spiel. I hope there's time for question and answers, but thank you so much again for having me. I think these sort of gatherings are critical here in Kiwanis because at a time when we are socially distanced, we shouldn't be, we're physically distanced, but we shouldn't be socially disengaged. So I love seeing this sort of turnout and I appreciate you having me, Steve and Mike and the crew.
Yeah,
thank
awesome.
you, Sid. Amazing.
Awesome, Sid. I've got some Q&A here in the chat that I'll kind of facilitate. But before I do that, just share my own experience. So a long time ago in my former career, when I was a CPA working at Deloitte, I volunteered for JA. I think it was 2004, a personal finance class for a middle school in La Jolla. And I went every other Friday for like eight weeks or something like that. And it was a huge rewarding experience to volunteer and teach these kids. They were so interested in learning how to balance a checkbook. I mean, back then we talked about checkbooks, but you know, just their own personal finance and how to keep that going. It sounds like Doug Frost had an experience volunteering. So, you know, maybe we can share a couple of those, but a couple of questions, Sid. The first question is, I'd be interested in hearing about what kinds of products the students actually developed in some of these kind of think tanks and incubators. So not to put you on the spot, but do you have anything that has come out of those kind of programs that you've run?
Absolutely. So it really ranges. Our goal is the kind of the, it is the concepts and the philosophy and the technical tools around it. So we don't actually drive them into specific industries or products or services. So let me first say the real focus is around how do you get up and pitch yourself, right? And what is it to raise capital? How do you build a business plan, marketing strategy? How do you identify barriers to entry? That broad scale. Having said that, what that has led to are businesses that are as kind of common and obvious as t-shirts to apps. And what's really exciting is one young person developed an app here during COVID that would connect kids to each other in a safe, manageable way without making it selling. And I'm giving you high level. It was very interesting. And they actually got a developer to build them out a prototype so that they could actually show it. That was in the Google store, actually, or was in the Apple App Store or the Google Store, that their school district actually wanted to take a look at to say, okay, this is actually really interesting. Could we do this across our district? So it's really run the gamut. It's from kind of retail all the way to other social media and tech and really everything in between. Candidly, there's a dog collar that one of the kids actually again built a prototype for that they showed off that would release at certain points, and it was like a smart dog collar. It's just like these kids they just need the platform and a little bit of guidance. And then we just got to get out of their way and trust that if we do our job, they will do theirs really well.
That's awesome. Don't worry, Lauren and Brian, I will get to you. A couple questions in the chat. Somebody visited the JA in Houston years ago and saw the JA BizTown. So they were curious, where did it start? Was it developed here in San Diego, or was it brought by another city?
It was developed, I believe, actually in the Midwest was the first one. So we did not start it, but we are the only BizTown in California. We're the only BizTown in California and the only facility that has both a finance park, which is historically the older ages, and a BizTown. And I neglected to say, our finance park is not just high school. We've actually partnered with Just in Time with working with emancipated foster youth, 18 to 25. We actually have adults that come through our facility with their families, and they do it together. So I want to be very clear, while we historically have served K-12, we've already started to partner with the Workforce Partnership, Just in Time, and others, because we've realized that what we do has far more application than just at the end, just K through 12.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, awesome. Craig asks, how long has JA been involved with the Monarch School, and what are some of the successes that have come from that?
So we have a longstanding partnership that has been, we first started working with them nearly 7 years ago, 7 to 10 years ago. It has gone on and off. One of the things that I'm working to adjust is our institutional partnerships. Unfortunately, and historically, we have always partnered literally at the teacher level. So the problem that comes with that is, as teachers leave and there is turnover, you lose a year essentially trying to build a new relationship as a new teacher comes in. So we've met with I'm actually working on a meeting with the new CEO at Monarch. So if anyone has a contact, would love an intro. But we're gonna kind of sit down and say, how can we do more? This past spring, we partnered to provide a workshop that essentially was our virtual finance park. It was a mix of all three of our pillars: entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy, over 5 weeks. Now, that's what we most recently did this spring. And we've also done our company program, entrepreneurship, with them as well in the past, but we're looking to do more.
Awesome. Our past president, Brian Kraus, wants to chime in. He had some connection with the club as well. Brian, are you there?
I am. Thanks, Steve. Sid, you were fantastic. I love junior achievement. I was lucky to be a volunteer at BizTown last year. It must have been the last BizTown before you had to shut down for COVID. It was my daughter's 5th grade class. The place smelled like hand sanitizer, and you guys did a fantastic job. It was really, really inspiring. And I'm,
thank you.
Yeah, I feel fortunate that my daughter was able to have that experience. I hope my youngest gets to next year when, things are hopefully back to normal. But good. I applaud you for pivoting, to the work from home and from home. You guys do a great job. Super passionate about the program. So I just want to commit to you. I want to help. I'm confident that I can twist some arms of some other financial professionals and entrepreneurs in our club to help this spring. So hold me to that. I'll reach out afterwards, but it's just a great work. I'm horribly biased being in financial services, but we don't, as we all know on this Zoom, none of us learn this stuff in high school or college. My first introduction to finance was a credit card tent that Capital One had at SDSU. To convince me that I too could have $600 at 18% compounded daily. So again, keep up the great work and let us know how we can help this spring.
Well, thank you, Brian. And by the way, I think we also all have realized that $600 at 18% was well worth the free T-shirt or towel that we received for it.
Of course, yeah. And that party I used the money on was also
there you go.
Good memories there too. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian's still paying that one off, I think, today. But we had a hand up. I think Lauren had her hand up, and then I know Claire had her hand up, or still has her hand up. So Lauren, go ahead, and then we'll go over to Claire.
Yeah, I did want to say I'm a huge BizTown fan. I would like to live there. I think it's awesome. And watching my son go through it 3 years, you know, he started off as the DJ and then that wasn't enough money and he needed to do something else. And so the next year he was a cop, and no one respected him. And so his third year he was the bank chair, and that was it. And he decided in all of those processes that you just do not make enough money. And that started a conversation at the house. It's like, oh, what did that cost? I had to work X amount of minutes to get that. And so that's actually been a running thing in our household. So I super, super appreciate what you do. And I will also join Brian and nudge him along and participate and be helpful. Good job.
That means so much. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. And I think you brought it up. The goal is not to have answers for these young people, but believe it or not, it's to create more questions for them. It's to create awareness and a safe space to ask those questions. So thank you, Lauren. And for you and Brian and everyone else, we will absolutely be taking you up on it. So thank you so much.
Okay, Claire, go ahead, and then Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sid. That was amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with Junior Achievement through Star Pal, which is Police Athletic League, and our youth have benefited from that. I think my favorite program was the students who were actually terming out of probation. They were youth who were on probation, and Valerie Hash was the volunteer and mentor who came out and talked to them, and it just resonated so much. And you talked about the barriers to entry and how a lot of the students didn't have California IDs. So everyone's telling them, oh, go get a job. Well, you don't have an ID, you actually can't open a bank account. So it was like even the first step of just getting these kids who were terming off probation California ID so they could open a bank account, and then learning from Valerie was just an incredible experience. And they are so eager to learn. They want to ask questions. They don't have that platform and that resource at home necessarily to open up on that. So just super grateful for the partnership. And then in terms of the new programming, we've also been pivoting virtually, but questioning how, if moving out of schools, are you doing more of like an after school time frame where that's hosted by Junior Achievement that students can then join? Is that sort of the new model?
No, it's a little of both. So one, thank you for your partnership, Claire. And just so you know, Valerie Hash is over at another great organization, the MAC Project.
Yes.
But we're partnering with her on an initiative at National City Chamber called I Am Ready, to help young people get ready. It's a free conference, and we're participating. So,
awesome.
So two things. One, and again, this is good. Most nonprofit CEOs don't say this, but I think it's important to recognize that none of us can do this alone. And there's such great organizations that all of you know of and are a part of. And you know, I'm just excited to be able to play a small role with them. We're not doing less schooling. We're not doing less in schools. We're doing more elsewhere. And we want our community to help determine what that looks like. So as an example, in some cases, it's after school. In others, you mentioned justice involved youth. We're working with the what they call the Achievement Center at South Bay Community Services. And so it's a bunch of their young people, same thing, 45-day essentially probation that they have to go through. Our program was a part of, and one of their most popular, I don't want to call it electives, but one of their most popular sessions to get out, because it discussed money. Every kid wants to know, when you start talking about money and how I can make it and how I can save it and how I can grow it, that's exciting to them. They care. They just don't know how. And so to your point, that program ran, some of those sessions were on the weekends. Okay. So I wouldn't say after school. It's really, we want to be responsive. And in some environments that will be during school, and some it will be at a library or at a church, or in some places it will be at a community center. So it looks a little different for everyone. And we want to get back working with Star Pal. If I don't want that to end, by the way.
Neither do we. We've had a lot of changes as well, and I think it's a good time to kind of connect. So I'll hit you up offline and we can chat.
Please do.
But love your programs and love your perspective as a CEO. I think they're so lucky to have you, pivoting and during this time. So thanks for sharing with our club.
You should, if you want to send an email to Deborah Schwartz, she's the CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union, and my boss, she's our board chair. Feel free to share that and note a 20 to 25% increase. That would be great.
Got you. I got you.
Awesome. So I see Gordon's hand up. We got maybe time for one more question after Gordon, and I'll go ahead and put Sid's contact info in the chat as well if anybody wants that. So Gordon, take it away.
Gordon, I think you're muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, I've never had the benefit of meeting you personally, but let me share with you that I do know members of your board, and they do speak very highly of you. So secondhand pass through the next time I see Deborah. I actually had the benefit, thanks to your predecessor, Joanne, of being there and helping with the original build out of the finance side on BizTown through the old San Diego National Bank and the original whale build that we put up there. But I've also sat there and quote unquote balanced a few checkbooks. That's always puts a little sweat beads on your eyebrow when you're doing that along with the student. You better get the answer right. But what I really wanted to thank you for was what you did to make San Diego, I mean, the evolution to Finance Park and the help out with Just in Time, which I happen to be on the board of directors of Just in Time, which I know is located right down the street from you guys, actually. Thank you for taking it to the whole new level, because even though San Diego wasn't first, you guys have created a great reputation again across the state of California and regionally. So, and again, you can count on me to join Brian and join Claire in helping out and stuff like that, especially through the just-in-time piece with the aged out foster youth. So thank you again.
Well, Gordon, thank you so much for your work in making it happen. You built it, I didn't. I'm just trying to be the steward for it. And just know that it takes great CEOs like Don Wells, who Gordon knows, but for those that don't, I think there are some really tremendous leaders who want to do what's right for our kids. And that's only going to happen when we all get together and find our places. We don't reinvent wheels. And Don Wells was a real push of saying, I don't want to build financial literacy curriculum. Let's go to Just in Time and do our pathways for financial success. And to Gordon's point, for those who don't know, we actually, when it was allowed, we host their youth and donors and board in our building. We run it with support from Just in Time staff. It's very much completely together. And again, it's a chance for both of us. It's not about who gets credit. It's how we do the most and the best work. And so thank you, Gordon, for even bringing that up, because that's an important partnership. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Awesome. So many good connections. When we go back to in-person gatherings in the community, you'll probably bump into Sid at a Padre game or some civic engagement. You know, that's the only time I get to see him, or used to get to see him. So I'm just so pleased that you were able to be here, Sid. I miss you, man. I miss working with you. Good to see you. Thanks for taking the time. I'm sure you'll hear from a lot of our club members. And, you know, the rest of our meeting is all Kiwanis Club business. So if you want to see how Kiwanis does it, you know, stay on the call. If you got other things to do, you can you can take off. But let's give it a virtual round of applause for Sid. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having, and my email is there. I look forward, you guys make the work happen. I just look forward to coordinating it with you. So thank you.
Yeah, just one parting word, Sid. I too would like to thank you for being here. Our district leader, Mark McDonald, had to jump off the call, but he was excited for the continued partnership with Junior Achievement. So I understand Kiwanis at the district level does work with you. So thank you for that. And I too want to get involved as well. So
thank you.
All right, Lauren, bring us to the next phase of our meeting, please.
It's birthdays, Michael. What do you want to say?
I did have a fantastic birthday, despite my best efforts to have Christy just play it low key, given COVID and the fact that, you know, I'm at an odd year, if you will. She still poured on a lot of food and beverage, so I'm feeling good. I took a couple workouts this week too, so you know, at 52, I'm still, you know, feeling positive. But no, delighted to be here. Thank you all for the well wishes, and everybody wish Drew a happy birthday if you happen to communicate with him as well.
Yeah, he couldn't come to the meeting because he's partying today, I guess. So we'll get with him and see what's up with him.
Nice, thanks. Oh, it's fine time. Before Judy had to jump off, she self-fined $20. So I'll start it off on Judy's behalf. She indicated that she was remiss in not letting us know that the Kiwanis International president wrote our Kiwanis Club of San Diego congratulating us on 100 years of service to our community. So Judy wanted to self-find because that was back in September. And so we can all take great pride in the idea that we're associated with such a long-standing club. Any other individuals out there that perhaps don't have their pin on, or they have an errant dog in the background barking, and they've been trying to not feel like they
Not going to take it off, but I showed you my belt buckle, the big K.
Oh yeah.
Does that count, Mike, if we don't see it? I mean, I don't think we should, but I'm just asking, if we don't see it, does it count as really being on the member? No, don't stand up, Sean. You know what? Never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm going to move on with this one, and we'll get on to the next part of this.
That'll teach you.
Yeah. Yikes.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, we'll do maybe a different take on that.
Bill's Bucks, dear old Bill Gibbs. Many of you know he was a pioneer of aviation here in San Diego, and Montgomery Field has been renamed Bill Gibbs Montgomery Field, I believe. And he was a stalwart in our community, a wonderful individual who gave of his heart, and he was a great Kiwanian. So this is the time when we share something that we're either happy about, or maybe there was some unfortunate, sad news that we'd like to share information on. Anybody want to open it up for us?
It's open. One of the people that we've been dealing with for some years now over at San Diego Unified has been named as the Assistant Secretary for Education in the new Biden cabinet. Christy Martin has actually made our job in the old major emphasis committee a good deal easier by doing just about everything we wanted it to do, only because she had the vision and occasional push from us. But she has indeed shown incredible leadership in that position. I've seen about 4 or 5 district school presidents, and she by far has surpassed them all. So let's give a hand to Ms. Martin.
I'll throw in $5 for Cindy Martin. I'm going to make that 5 sad dollars though, because I agree with Sean. She is a fantastic superintendent, and now we have to find one to fill some big shoes. But and I'll throw in $5 for not wearing any sort of Kiwanis pin as well. But my favorite Cindy Martin story, I was lucky to sit next to her at a Laurel's luncheon years ago. It must have been about 6 years ago, because we were still trying to figure out which school to send Sophia to. In Tirisana, we could choose between Kumeyaay and Tirisana Elementary. And I'll never forget her recommendation. I said, so what do you think? We hear better things about Kumeyaay. The teachers are better. You know, maybe, I'll admit, I even said maybe even a little bit more affluent part of the neighborhood. But what do you think about Tirisana Elementary? And she said, well, I think it's pretty easy. Which one are you closer to? And I said, oh gosh, we can walk to Tirisana Elementary every single day. And she says, well, it sounds like an easy decision to me. Have them go there and make it better. So fortunately, my lovely bride we took her up on that, and I think she's done a great job in doing her small part in trying to make it better. But love Cindy, sad to see her go. Not surprised that our president-elect found her and nominated her for an important role for our country.
Tremendous news. Thank you for sharing. And Brian, thank you for sharing your anecdote on Cindy Martin. Any other happy or sad dollars out there? Carl Nettleton, I see you pop. Okay.
Well, Mike,
go ahead.
I'm going to give $10 because I do love BizTown. I mean, honestly, I think it's it's one of my favorite places ever to go. I went every year we could. I still hear about all the kids in South Bay that go. And I think that's a great program. I'm really glad that we had him today to talk about it. And so I'm going to give $10 to the club for that one.
Do we have any connection, a formal connection with JA? I mean, is not on our list of beneficiaries? Do we have a committee that does
I
any?
think there's a partnership at the Kiwanis district level. But I did not see a proposal myself from JA this year, but it sounds like many Kiwanians have volunteered to help teach the finance courses. In the
Well, maybe we could have a proposal actually formally made at the next executive meeting.
We can take that under advisement, certainly, Sean.
Thank
you.
So Mike, I have my Kiwanis pin on, but I know Lauren's going to take me down for double registering. So let's throw that in as $10, and then let's double it to $20 just for giving me the memory of remembering sitting there sweating, trying to balance a checkbook on day one of the original BizTown, which quite frankly, I haven't thought about in many years until today.
Nice, Gordon. That's great. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, I'll give, I heard you earlier, but I was on mute and didn't have my camera on. I'll give $10 because Bill's still here.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, for sure.
Lauren, I think I owe some money. I think I backed up. I got to check on that.
When I put this new one on your bill, your tab, I will put it all together and email it as one big invoice. How's that?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay.
Susan Day has an announcement too regarding, it's not quite a Bill's Bucks, but it is something where we're going to sponsor a student. Susan, you want to mention?
Yeah, sure. You know what? This actually came out of Steve's scholarship meeting. The committee had a meeting last week, and I want to defer to Steve. Maybe Steve wants to announce this opportunity to underwrite the scholarship luncheon for some of our student scholars.
Sure. Yeah, great segue. So in about a month's time, we're going to have our annual scholarship luncheon. I think it's March 2nd. And this year, because we can't invite them to a luncheon in person, we're going to, for all those who RSVP to be here on March 2nd with us, this is our 5 local university scholarship students that our club is supporting. We're going to send them a card to buy lunch. So like a Grubhub or DoorDash card. And we want to underwrite that with support of the club. So when you register for that luncheon on March 2nd, you're going to have an opportunity to contribute $20 that will go to one of those cards so we can feed a student. Normally we would feed them at the scholarship luncheon because they're going to be our main program that day. So stay tuned for that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Susan. Thank you for the reminder. And hopefully it's something fun this year, a little bit different than obviously in these pandemic times.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Susan and Steve. And Lauren, will you make a note? I'd like to pre-fund one of the students. I'll be the first one to sponsor a student on that March luncheon.
I will do it. And we've actually already, when everyone goes to register right after this meeting, because you're excited about it, that option is available and you can sign on and pay your $20 and we can start getting a count for how many people we can do that for. So good idea, scholarship committee. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I see you've put up our current Kiwanis playoff picture.
Yes.
Do you want to run us through the standings?
Well, I will, and I would like to say, unfortunately for Mr. Morris, this chart was put together by his colleague, Karina Sousa, with the thought that he would be attending our social last week on Thursday night, but he did not. He did not. He was absent, and therefore, Sean McCardle, big round of applause for him, is our leading member who has attended all events. Steve, you can catch up, but you're going to have to try because Sean's the man. And then we're kind of working through some of our other people that, as you know, we're all on the march to be member of the year. someone of the year, anything of the year by the time we get to the end of this process. So you see there are a few people that, you know, like Justin and Glenn, they're just kind of holding back a little bit, see how it shakes out, and then bam, they're going to jump in and surprise us. You have some others that are there, like Heather Robinson. She is sneaky. She gets in on those meetings, she gets them done. So I would encourage everyone to be involved. You still have time. But Sean is the winner so far as we're moving forward.
I want to personally thank all of these members who have been such stalwarts in attending these virtual meetings. I know it's been kind of a drag and we all want to get back to meeting in person. But I have to say, Sean, you know, let's get together, buddy, and have a, maybe we can have a pop together and you can share some stories. And I want to hear more about your time with the Maritime Museum and the like. So thank you for being our top honors so far.
Anybody can stop by at any time. All you have to do is call me to make sure I'm here. And I will make sure that, well, some people like martinis, some people.
Okay, Sean, thank you. I appreciate that. I will definitely look you up.
Mike, can I just say that it couldn't happen to a nicer guy than Sean, but my excuse, actually, it's kind of funny. So my fiance and I just started the premarital counseling course through the Rock Church, and I double booked myself Thursday night. It was either trivia, Kiwanis trivia, or premarital counseling session. I think I made the right choice, but now I'm not so sure.
It's great.
Well, sir, you may
All
never
the credit
know
goes to you.
that. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay.
Oh, here we are. We are so close to our first virtual Laurels for Leaders luncheon on February 23rd, 2021. Gordon, would you like to give us any latest, greatest updates on how it's all shaping up and how we can help your efforts?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we're about 5 weeks out. There's still opportunities if you go to the website, which I know Karina's probably going to put up at the end there, to join the Laurel Society and sponsor a student or 2 students, or you even have an opportunity to sponsor 4 students if you would like. We have about 40 students that are already registered. We have about 5 that are also registered for the supplemental workshops on banking, conquering credit, and the Blanchard Institute's student self-leadership. So again, would encourage you, I know we have a lot of events coming up, but again, Feb 23rd, 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
That's great, Gordon. May I just ask you, so if someone was to sponsor a student, so I think about my mom, for example, she loves her opportunity to sit with the ASB president from Our Lady of Peace every year. What is the unique opportunity for her? Is she going to have an opportunity to speak with this individual one-on-one at some point, or will she just be attending sort of anonymously?
Yeah, so this year, obviously a little bit different as we had to convert to virtual. I mean, we're not going to get that opportunity to purchase lunch, sit next to the person, and have that opportunity to interact with the smaller group at a table, basically of 8 to 10 of us. That's the networking opportunity we had to basically foreclose on based on the COVID limitations.
Sure.
But there is the opportunity if you really want to connect yourself to your individual favorite high school to basically finance for $250 the stipend that they're going to be given, because we were highly motivated and dedicated to be loyal in still honoring that the ASB presidents that are having to deal with the adversity they're having to deal with this year, and who will not get the opportunity to sit at lunch and get that great networking opportunity of 500 of us in the room on campus at San Diego State, that we would still come up with the funds to be able to give them each the $250,000 thank you award. So again, I would encourage you, if there was ever a year to step up beyond just buying lunch for yourself and them, this is an opportunity to take that special high school and that special ASB president, join the Laurel Society, where you'll actually be in the program and documented in the program, and sponsor their stipend check.
That's great. Thanks again, Gordon. All right. Lauren, will you take us through the programs coming in hot?
Yeah, we talked about a few of them, but our next one up is Nancy Worley. Did I say that correctly, Brian? With KPBS, and we're really looking forward to that one. Brian was instrumental in making that happen, but we think that she is going to have a great program, and you can register now online. And actually, I would say all of these events are online right now. Even if you go to the website, you can find the information that will put you through to the Laurels for Leaders, Laurel Society page, so you can access everything that we've talked about today. On the 2nd, we are having the Scholars Luncheon as we discussed. So make sure we can send a Grubhub card to them or lunch to them. That'll be exciting. I'm wishing we could do someone who follows the Grubhub guy, as he surprises them at their door. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll be me. I don't know. I volunteer for that if it doesn't happen. And then on March 16th, we have the Port of San Diego coming to discuss all kinds of things with us. I'm sure we have many questions. I have a million, but I will let you guys think about yours in the meantime. And then we do have some member updates, as we've discussed. Ta-da! One of us is pregnant, and it's not me. And I think there's only like 3 ladies here today. But yeah, it is Claire, and we are super excited. Claire, do you want to say something, or just look at your picture where you look so cute?
So cute. And I'd love to show that my husband is going to go surfing in the middle of the day. Come here, babe.
Okay, well.
Enjoy this while it lasts, right, Grant?
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. Glad to be.
Not going down all the time.
I had to work there.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you two.
Honey, that won't be happening in May when our baby is due.
What?
But we are so excited.
News to me.
More
wonderful.
banter like that anytime, you guys. Everyone who's been married for a while appreciates that for sure. So,
But Claire, what you meant is it won't be happening because he'll be taking a nap after being up 3 times throughout the middle of the night, right?
Exactly, Gordon.
That's
right.
Yes.
Or so
Or he
smitten, he'll be starstruck by that little cutie.
Yeah. Or
He
he'll
won't
sleep
even
in
wanna-
his wetsuit because the baby spits up too much. So, who knows? And it is dog time. Does everyone remember this game and how we play? We show you a picture of a really cute dog, and we ask you to tell us, who do you think is the Kiwanis' paw parent? Get that paw rent. Do we have anyone who wants to guess today? No? Is everyone stumped?
Are you, Claire, perhaps? Just because it's her day, sort of, with the big announcement?
Look, did you already look ahead in the slides? Come on, Mike Boland. Wait.
No, I had no idea. I just was kind of like, nah, we think Claire is kind of cool today because she's having a baby. So there's baby number 2. You guys were already practicing.
See? Yep. Yeah. Congrats. That is the cutest dog. And you guys look amazing in this photo. So we'll put that on the website so people know that people who are amazing looking are part of our club. So it'll be wonderful for everyone. Let's see here. Trivia Tuesdays. This is a chance for Karina to put up questions because she's not here, and she puts up questions and she writes the answers. And the reality is I don't even know the answers most of the time. So I'm guessing along with you as we do this. So the question on the screen is, in what year was Sally Hazard our first woman president?
1974.
Okay, 74 is on the table. Take a couple others. Anything?
1995.
94.
That's what I meant, 94. I said 74. Sorry.
Okay, so
Okay, then I
anyone who
agree with
guessed
Carl.
anything with a 4 in it apparently thinks they're going to get credit for this one. So let's see how we do here. Oh,
So close.
Missed it by a year.
Doug
Doug
Frost is
got
back
it.
in action.
That's for sure. Yes.
Put him on a
It just
committee.
does
for
not
a
seem like it
trivia
was,
team.
very long ago for us to be having our first woman president. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because tomorrow we'll have a woman vice president of the United States. So that's super exciting. All right, next
All
question.
right.
When was our foundation established and who was the first president? Oh, Mark McDonald jumped off. He might have been a shoo-in for this one. Anything? I think we have a bunch of former presidents of the foundation here with us today. Anything from you
Well,
all?
the first president was obviously George Washington, but I imagine you mean the president of the foundation.
You know what? I'm just going to keep going on this one because I feel like
1952, I'm going to say the year.
52 to be established and no ideas about president, right? 53, Douglas, good work. Leo Callan.
Wow.
You know, I really thought that said Callan the first time I saw it. I'm like, those Callans are so connected, man. They're all over town. But it's not. It's Callan.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good look for him, really. All right, let's see what else we got. Just a reminder that our Kiwanis Club has a YouTube channel. We have a page on Facebook. We're talking about Instagram. You know, if you weren't like maybe, you know, wanting to subscribe to something that we already currently have, we would consider another platform. But I encourage everyone in our club to be part of these and like it and move it forward. We do like to promote our members. So if you have something going on professionally or just for fun, post it and we'd love to tag you and move that along and move the club along as well. I guess we're gonna buddy Jeff Coates' picture here because I don't know that he's drumming up a lot of business for this program. Follow us on Facebook. We do get a lot of that. And I will say this because they never get credit for it. Ryan Callan and Justin Frisco like the Kiwanis Facebook page fairly regularly. And I appreciate that because not everyone does. And I think that's it, guys. That's what I have for us, Mr. Boland.
Thank you, Lauren. Well, everyone, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Sid, for the tremendous presentation on junior achievement. Congratulations with all that good work. And join us for our next meeting and hear a little bit from the KPBS. So take care, everyone. Have a great couple weeks. And go, Joe. All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Lauren. Great job. Glad that we could be here from Scripps Ranch.
Yes, you really represented. Way to go. See ya. Bye, Monica. All right, here I go.